This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks show number 560, recorded on January 26th, 2023. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in a beautiful, I've got some good stretch of weather. It will never last forever for this the winter. Here in Bellevue, Nebraska, and of course, we post a show with some world-class show notes. And actually, over the last couple of weeks, I've been using ChatGPT to help me make some great show notes.
Nice.
Super helpful. Not total copy and paste, but a little helpful. We'll see how well ChatGPT knows ThinkComputers when we get there. We'll check that. Of course, big thanks to Christian Johnson, who joined us last week. We had a little conversation about the LastPass breach and maybe a move to Bitwarden. I heard a lot of you throughout the course of the week email me and some conversations around that, and I still haven't done anything yet, so I got some work to do. But Christian, thanks for coming on, and of course, big thanks to our Patreon subscribers. If you're finding value in this podcast and you want to give value for value, of course, you can head out to Patreon, theaverageguy.tv/Patreon, and join us there. Big thanks to all of those that do that as well. Bob and Ryan from ThinkComputers at thinkcomputers.org are back. Gentlemen, welcome back to Home Gadget Geeks.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, thanks for having us on again.
Good to have you. I watched some of your coverage from CES. We've got kind of 3 topics to talk about. I've got articles to support each one of those for you. I'll throw those in chat room. They'll be in show notes as well if folks want to head out there. But I watched you guys from a hotel room, side by side kind of report. Give us Bob, why don't you start? Give us a rundown a little bit. How is Vegas? It was this year. I mean, the last couple of years have just been kind of a nightmare for CES, right? The way it worked. Was it fully back? Was it a good one? Are you looking forward to next year already? Give us a little rundown on.
I think
how you felt.
It definitely wasn't as busy as, say, was the last one we went to 2020?
2020, yep.
Yeah, so right before everything kind of shut down, and it was really, really busy then, but I feel that it wasn't as busy, which is of course good for us because we're trying to get from meeting to meeting, booth to booth, see different companies, and less people is better for us. But yeah, I mean, it was a good show overall. I think a lot of companies, this was like their first real, we're back, this is like a thing again. There still was some pretty big companies, at least in our space, that weren't there this year. But I think things are coming back to normal. And for us, it was really good to be back. I had a lot of fun. Didn't sleep too much. Just was up, shooting our videos and putting all of our content out there. So, but yeah, I mean, I had a great time. I got to hang out with Ryan. I hadn't seen Ryan in person in almost 3 years.
3 years.
So yeah, I forgot how short he was. So
he always thinks I'm like much taller than I actually am.
Yeah. So, but no, Ryan, it was a good time.
Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. Less crowd is good for us. The crazy thing, you mentioned our content in the suite that we have, right? So we tore apart our suite the first night there, rearranged couches, moved furniture from room to room, set up a little mini podcast video recording studio. Bob had loaded up his car, drove out from California to Vegas with a car full of tech. We utilized that. I think it turned out great for us. It was something new that we hadn't tried. We did do one live podcast. The internet where we are out there just isn't always the best, right? Yeah, so that makes live content a little harder. But, every day we would have these meetings, then come back and shoot all of our content there, then edit and upload. So I think it worked out really well for us. It was something new. Like I said, we were trying. And it ended up, those late nights where you get those, as a kid, you have those sleepovers and the giggles start coming out because you're just tired and have no sleep. And I'm like, I'm 40 years old. And how am I like giggling? And then I'm like, oh, yeah, this is way past when I'm normally in bed by now. And you're like, well, here's 15 minutes of footage we can't use because it's all just laughing and screw ups. But it was a good time.
Yeah, it definitely was a good time.
Well, it was fun to watch you. So the everything was recorded and then uploaded, or did you try to do some live? I couldn't
We
remember.
did
We
a
did one
live. Yeah, we did one live podcast before the show started. And then when we got into the show, there was just again, we had like 5 to 10 meetings a day, and each meeting is a video. So we have to, as Ryan said, come back and then shoot all of the A-roll for that video, and then I have to go and edit it after and then upload. It was just and then Ryan would write a supporting article for that video as well. So it was just a lot of work.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, I was gonna say we switched tack actually a little bit after the first day or two, where we usually have our backpacks and our nice cameras and would film. Bob ended up switching over to his iPhone to shoot almost all of the B-roll.
Wow.
And I think that turned out great, right? It lightens your load, it's quicker, it just turned things around for us. It was great.
Ryan, what's up with you having a jankety phone while you? I heard you were. It's just a rumor. It was just a rumor that I heard maybe last night on your podcast.
Yeah. I've just not been happy with the camera on my phone.
What do you have?
I have the OnePlus 10. It's like the 10 Pro 5G, and it's got how many lenses on this thing? 3 lenses and this, that, and the other. I just haven't been happy. No, it's not. Well, it's not great in low light. I'm not happy with like the sharpness that it doesn't get. The focus area is like it's pretty tight in the center, and then it's just like, why is this so blurry around the edges of the photo? I just haven't been impressed with it compared to my previous Pixels. So.
Bob, you were shooting with iPhone, I take it?
Yeah, iPhone. I think this is the 12 Pro. But yeah, we shot everything with this. Obviously, it's just super, super small and super easy to pull the footage off. And with the larger cameras that I did bring, I have to set up a tripod. I have to get in place, and all these meetings are super like we only have a certain amount of time, and it's kind of just back to back. So having to set everything up, it just was so much easier. And I think we got away with the quality. Obviously, shooting with an iPhone over a really, really nice camera, somebody like me, I can tell the difference. But I think for YouTube, it was more than enough. The iPhone did a good job. And I think that people are really more into like, they don't really care as much about the quality. They really want to know the information about the product that we're talking about. So I think going forward, that's kind of what we're going to do, because it just kind of worked out.
Yeah, a little easier video production that way. Easier to get it done. I did CES, I think maybe 2010, 09, 2010, something like that. I can't remember. I have to go back and look. But would you recommend, after seeing it, could an enthusiast, just a tech enthusiast, do you think if they went for a couple days and did whatever it took to get in, be a part of it, you think it's worth it if you're, that much stuff?
If you want to see so a lot of these companies are showing products that won't come out till the middle of the year or something like that. So if you're just an enthusiast and you want to, drop the money for a plane ticket and hotel room, it's cool to see all the new tech. That's kind of one of the reasons that Ryan and I enjoy going beyond covering it and seeing a bunch of friends. It's, we get to see all this new, really, really cool tech. I think somebody can do it. There are a lot of people that just go to see everything. They're not really there for any other specific purpose. But it is a lot. And it's, the thing is too, is that a lot of the companies, especially the companies that we deal with in like the PC hardware realm, they're not on the show floor at all. They just have rented out a suite in a hotel. So say you're somebody and you want to see a specific company, you're not going to be able to see them because they're only showing products at a hotel suite, and you have to set up a meeting. And if you're just a normal guy, you're not going to be able to, set up that meeting. So, but there's a lot of cool stuff, I think, from, again, not just PC hardware. You have televisions, you have washers and dryers, you have, massage chairs. You have everything that's there.
Canon had set up at their booth, like they had have a partnership, I think, with M. Night Shyamalan, and they had a cabin set up inside of one of the convention centers with like fake trees around it. It was a really cool nature exhibit, for I didn't wait in line the hour or whatever it was going to take to actually experience the full thing. But yeah, LG's got, walls of curved TVs that are just, amazing. And so you can definitely get something out of it, seeing some of the cool new automobile tech and things like that. But yeah, like Bob said, you're not even going to get up to the towers that a lot of these suites are in, that the companies that we meet with are there, because someone a lot of times has to come down and get you and bring you up.
Yeah, and even on the show floor, like certain companies, like they'll have their products kind of sitting there, but you don't really get to experience them. One of the companies that we're going to be talking about, like they on their like as part of the booth, they had like this back room where they were demoing the products, and you can only go in that demo room if you have a meeting set up. So it's kind of we get the good access, which is good.
Yeah, it is nice. We got a little bit of that the year I went to. You plan that in advance. How far, Bob? How far in advance do you start requesting those meetings?
Right after Thanksgiving, typically.
Okay. Oh, so that's pretty fast, within a month.
Yeah,
generally, right?
Yeah, so right after Thanksgiving, you kind of start seeing who's going to be there. Where the thing that we do, especially that I do, is we figure out where they're going to be, because then we plan all the meetings so they're together. So we're not running from one hotel to another hotel, convention center to another hotel, or so we're not running around. That's kind of how we, or at least I try to do it that way.
We had one day. Day it was at the same location, but it was like a meeting room there, and then up to a suite, and then back down to a meeting room and up to a suite.
Yeah, I didn't. That wasn't my fault. That wasn't my fault.
No worries. No worries. Hey, it's like, there's just a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everything's far apart. You get your steps in while you're there.
Oh yes.
Food's super expensive. Lodging, although I'd heard hotel prices weren't as bad as they've been.
I feel like I got fleeced. I got fleeced.
Oh,
on our hotel room was over $1,000 more than it was in 2020.
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then maybe reports were wrong. I was hearing some, like, with attendance being down a little bit, they were able to find some folks were able to find cheaper accommodations. But again, although we're in a period of high inflation, you never know, right? Where those things
I was not. I mean, it was not the happiest, but it still was. Where we stay is like a condo, which gives us enough room to kind of set up, like how Ryan said, we had our sort of like podcast set up in there. So that's probably why I got fleeced.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. It was worth it. It was just a business expense.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah.
If you want to check out full CES coverage of everything they wrote during that time, it's available. ThinkComputers.org. Is there a slash that'll get?
Yeah, I'll put it in the YouTube chat, because I'm actually on the YouTube chat.
Okay.
If it doesn't get blocked.
Yep. And I'll go. Oh no, you can't. It'll get blocked. Throw it in the private chat here.
Oh yeah,
I'll move it over.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to get started, you guys know for sure what's near and dear to my heart. In last year, you guys posted a picture that I just clumped onto of a monitor that it was huge and wide and curved, and you could literally sit at the desk and it would go up over the top of you.
Yeah.
And you really got me a year ago kind of thinking about my own monitor setup. Now I have 10 monitors down here. And so I'm a little crazy about monitors. But you saw this Samsung and the Samsung monitor that you guys wrote about. I want to talk about monitors a little bit in general. Differences between last year and this year on curved resolution. Was there any general trends as we're seeing monitors? Are they all moving to 4K or 8K or whatever? Can you talk a little bit about what you saw among the monitors?
I think the biggest thing is that we're going past 49 inches. So the big monitor that Samsung showed was their Neo G9 57. So that's the one that you have up on the screen right there. And that is 57 inches wide. And I'm on a 49 right now. And I want a 57 now. I mean, Ryan, and that's Ryan sitting there. He was they had a racing type game on there for him to play. I mean, just such a big, and that's a 49, but that is OLED. So you're getting, with the 57, you're getting crazy resolution, 7,680 by 2160, which is so much room for if you're like me, like I'm a big productivity person. Like right now on my screen I have 3 windows open. On this one you could easily do 3, even 4, if not more than that. And then with the gaming you have great immersion with that as well. I mean, you can really kind of get into your game, which I think is really, really cool. If you're not, and then with the one that you're showing there, that's the Odyssey OLED G9. So they already had the G9, which is their 49-inch monitor, but they've upgraded it to an OLED display. I don't know how much your audience knows about OLED technology, but it's much, much brighter. The colors are more vibrant. You've seen it on TVs for a while, the OLED screens. I remember seeing them 10 years ago for the first time at CES, and I was blown away at the quality and how well the colors look. And I think that getting that type of quality into a screen that I would use, because again, I have to be super ultra wide, is awesome. And they're gonna be pricey, but I think again, just like we talk about, you use your chair every day, you use your monitor every day. You want to invest in something that's going to you're going to be using every day. So having OLED on a 49-inch is, I'm definitely a fan. Ryan got to demo both of these. He was the kind of test subject here. So
yes, I was the test dummy all week. So which is nice, right?
Job.
I got the what's that?
Tough job.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the larger of the 2 monitors, the curvature though is something I wanted to kind of point on. The larger is the 57-inch G9 is a 1000R. Yes. So when you're talking about curvature on these monitors, the kind of the smaller the number, so the 1000 kind of gives you more curve, whereas
the other one's 1800.
Yeah, the other one is 1800, which is kind of a flatter radius to the
you say the other itself. So this yes. One's a little flatter.
That one's 1800,
49-inch, and then this is 50.
That's 1000.
50. How wide was this again, Bob? 50.
57.
That's a 57.
57.
Right. It's enormous.
If you put 2 of those together, would it go halfway around you? Does that get you a 180?
No, because it's not
curved enough.
I think you'd
be close.
Yeah, you'd be close, but I think you would need 3.
Okay.
Okay. And then it'd probably be over 180.
What's the retail? So what's the retail on? Or is this in production yet? Or I'm assuming it's not, but is it available?
I don't believe it's available yet.
No, pricing and availability weren't available for either monitor, unfortunately.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I like I said, I like that we're going up in size. I'm always bigger is better, especially for, like I said, for productivity. But getting the better quality of the screen is definitely important as well. Samsung just this week also announced a new mini LED gaming display as well. So they're coming up with a lot of really cool. Mini LEDs are really, really cool. So if Ryan and I got to demo this a couple years ago, but if there's a fire on one part of your screen, that part of your screen is going to be brighter and really going to show the fire where the other part of your screen is not going to. So you're seeing a lot of that in new monitors as well. Lots of really cool stuff with monitor tech. And they had your monitor there as well. I took a picture by your the monitor,
the vertical one,
the vertical one.
The one that you can put. I would put 3 side by side, and then they would go up. And what's the curve on those? Are they pretty? They're pretty. That's a pretty drastic curve, isn't it? Do you remember?
On the Odyssey Arc,
I
think it's 1000 arc. That's 1000 arc curve as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's those are beautiful monitors. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. I don't know if I'd actually get the use out of them that I think I would, but they'd be beautiful.
You're saying that you have 10 monitors down
I do.
there. Yeah. So you could just, I always say like this monitor here is like having 3. The 49-inch is like having 3 monitors. So you could replace a couple with just one big one.
Well, and I could, if I had 3 side by side, it'd be 9. It'd be the equivalent to having 9 monitors in that cube,
Yeah.
so to speak, right? So that could work out. I mean, so I have 3 for work. The 4th is the laptop. It's still a screen, right? So I have a
Yeah.
cube of monitors for 4, and then the other 6, I've got one that's gets fully dedicated as a TV, right? So it's a 24-inch monitor, but it's got HDMI in, and so I just use it with a Fire Stick. Got a 27-inch curved 1440 or 2K that's in there. I've got this 34-inch ultra wide that is 1080 because I have it on the Mac, and I just don't do for what I do. It wasn't worth it at the time to buy more than that, so I can always upgrade. They're super cheap right now. If I wanted to
Yeah.
change that, I don't know. Maybe I'll get either this 49 or this 57. Although I think I'd run out of space. And then of course the Surface runs all my home automation. That's a screen, and I've got a dedicated screen for just the weather. I'm a guy, I like everything. I don't want to go find anything. I just want it
there.
And I've actually, the new build we'll talk about here at the end, I've just dedicated pretty much to YouTube viewing. It's kind of my YouTube box, and watching it on that 2K display for YouTube, it's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It works out really, really well. So well, yeah, I think I think in the future, I'd love to get it a 180 around me at 2 levels. That would be pretty great. And everybody they come down here and they're like, what are you doing?
You turn the brightness up enough, you'll have a nice even tan all the way around.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe even from behind. Anything else that you guys saw there from a monitor perspective? Anything else, Ryan, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I'll just touch on the OLED, the color clarity and brightness, like Bob mentioned. One of the images showed me playing Fortnite. I'm someone who spent quite a bit of time playing that game, and seeing it on this display compared to what I'm used to here at home is kind of crazy. It just looks so vibrant. It was cool. And then not Samsung, but Asus was showing off a 500 hertz refresh rate monitor as well. And they have some demos running of can you see the guy moving across the screen, and how the 500 hertz looks compared to like my monitor 144, and you're like, man, I thought my 144 hertz looked really nice, but it looks like trash compared to this 500 hertz.
Should it though? I mean, can our eyes really tell the difference between
absolutely.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you don't think I was the biggest skeptic. I was like, this is all BS and it's just marketing. And then they have demos set up for you to tell the difference between them, and you as a gamer, at least I know Ryan and I both, and like they run a demo where you're trying to shoot somebody, and then they run the demo again at a higher refresh rate, and everybody that we saw do it, and including both of us, we shot more people in the test. Yeah. So you can definitely tell the difference for sure. So
at this point, is the sweet spot 240 for refresh rate to price, or I'm assuming the 500 and above or whatever are
that's the pretty latest. I think probably
140 is pretty high.
I would say for like a normal size monitor, like 24, 27 would be 144 is kind of where you're at. You'll see a lot of 165s kind of in that range. And then for the super ultra wide, like I have, 120, 144 is typically where you see them for like, decent price for what you're getting, I would say. The one I have right here is 120. You
have to have a video card, to power that, that resolution plus hitting that frame rate. And dependent on what title it is you're playing or what type of content you're doing, right? So just because you've got that frame rate available to you on the monitor doesn't mean that you have the horsepower to back it up and provide content to it.
No, right on. I think I did 120. That's it, like at the really affordable end right now. 4K at 120 seems to be pretty. The 2K is even cheaper if you want to go down that far. If you got super cheap monitors, 1080p is like they're like $89.
Handing them out.
Yeah, they're like, can you take these? So now if you were buying anything, if you're replacing anything, monitors are the thing to replace right now. I don't. I'll see what you guys think, but it seems to be the price for performance on those is just the best I've seen in a long time. And it's just, it seems like right now is a good time. I don't know, Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, even like those as well as TVs, we're in that time where,
for sure.
you remember buying a TV and you're like, it was, a couple $1,000s, and now it's like $500, and you're like, so I mean, same thing with monitors. It's kind of the same thing. It's, you're gonna get pretty good quality, and like we're talking about Samsung. Samsung makes most of the glass that you see in all of these monitors, anyways. So the quality is going to be good on pretty much all the ones that you see too. So if you find like a good deal on Amazon or Best Buy or wherever you kind of shop, if you see a good deal, it's, probably going to be a good one for a while. Cause what's the next big, like,
LG?
No, the next big like holiday where they have a sale, and they're going to have sales now for Super Bowl sale.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
especially TVs.
Yeah, especially TVs. But if you see something that's a pretty good deal, I would, I'd pick it up. I think there's a lot of good monitors out there too, and for good prices. So
yeah, now I think I got my deck TV for like $99, 32 inch.
There you
the
go.
thing is so light. I literally, every time I pick it up, I think like the innards have fallen out.
Yeah,
I'm looking around like, did things fall out of this? Where did it get? There's so I can literally carry it under. It's a 32-inch TV. I could carry it under one arm.
Oh yeah.
And I'm afraid it's gonna like go flying out of my hands. So it's a good. I think now is a good time. And I think I mean we're gonna always see some improvements coming, but I think it's fairly stable. I mean, I think you're gonna, if you get a TV now, get a pretty good one at a pretty good price. I think that could last you for quite a while.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, my previous TV lasted me for almost 10 years. I mean, you know what I mean? But they're so cheap now too. It's like you see one, you're like, oh, I guess I could put a TV in this other room. I mean, it's like a couple $100 for a 4K, 65-inch TV. Why not?
I bought a 40 or 42 inch Samsung years ago. It's 1080p. Probably 60 hertz. I probably paid $400, $500, $600 for that thing. It'd be $100 today.
Yeah.
But it actually, for the way we watch TV in the living room, it works great.
Yep.
I don't need any more than that. Would we like more? Maybe.
Most of the content that you're watching too, whether it's like a streaming service, unless you're paying for the higher end streaming service,
right.
Like Netflix, it would be 1080p. It will upscale on your TV if your TV's 4K, but it's still, the content is going to be 1080p, and mostly YouTube and other things as well. So
no, it's a good time. I think that's I have no regrets. I bought this when we built a new rig. We're going to talk about that here at the end of the show. And I bought this 27-inch curved gaming. It's an Asus monitor. I think it was 167 or something like that. I mean, you got it for just some ridiculously low price, and you're just like, I was like, I don't feel guilty about this at all. This is awesome. Let's do more of this. So good stuff. I want to shift gears a little bit. And when I was on your show pre-Christmas, we were talking about things to, I forget how you guys phrased it, but things that I probably won't get, but that I want, or something like that. And I'd mentioned a pair of shelf speakers for my desk. And it thought, well, it'd be really nice. I think Edifier was the brand that I picked. I've had some Roland monitors that I've probably had for 20 years, and they still work. So I haven't done anything yet. But Bob, Razer's got a new Soundbar, and this is the weird part, right? Uses AI for head tracking for the best possible experience. I'm going to ask you another question about it, but what do you think of? Well, no, let me just ask you now. Can I put this thing on my desk? You have it on yours.
Yeah, So Ryan and I both got to demo this, and you would be surprised, even without the AI head tracking and all that other stuff, you would be surprised how good it sounds, and how, it's a sound bar. It's just one thing, and there was a subwoofer, but like how you can hear the sound if you're in a game or you're watching a movie and somebody's coming from the left side, like you can hear it on the left side, and it sounds like it's coming from the left side of the room. It doesn't sound like it's, coming from the sound bar that's in front of you. I think Ryan could kind of echo that.
Yeah, so if in that kind of header image there, there's a couple cameras and camera and some sensors, right, to take a look at your positioning in the room or in front of this, and it uses that the AI technology to kind of beam the sound waves to your ears, right, to get that left right surround type of setup there. It's got multiple sound options, just a regular stereo and then a virtual headset, surround sound, things like that. And it's kind of crazy how well it works. Switching from just a stereo mode to the other mode instantly has a noticeable effect on, hey, I feel like there's more speakers in here than there are. The subwoofer that comes with it, right, adds the deeper bass, right? You're not going to get that out of just a soundbar alone if you need that. Whereas the bookshelf speakers usually have maybe a 4 or 5-inch speaker on them, so you're going to get a little lower response from them. But yeah, no, it's really cool technology, and it's more affordable than I thought it was going to be. I'm trying to remember
Now, when you say more affordable,
I believe.
Oh, okay.
With the
So
subwoofer, right?
Yeah, I was looking for. I think I was at $199 for a pair of fairly decent shelf speakers. I'm assuming, does this have the reason I wanted it is it had 2 inputs and Bluetooth, so I could get 2 computers in. Would that work for me?
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah, it has multiple inputs. You can do Bluetooth on it for sure, because they showed us that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I thought, and then it, like Ryan says, it has a camera in it. So the camera is tracking where you are in the room, and it's going to adjust the sound based on where you are to create the best sound possible. And we tested it, we put our hand over the camera so it couldn't find you, and the sound did change. So that's something that was super cool as well.
It only does it for the one person, right? It's only tracking the main person in front of it. So if you're standing off to the side, you'll be able to hear that the audio has changed a bit, but you're not going to get the noticeable difference that the person in the prime seating location is going to get.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't be something you necessarily want to use in a family room, right? Under a TV, right? You want to use this at your PC because of the smaller area that it's able to do that beam forming surround sound piece there. If you're just using it in stereo mode, it'd work fine. But
and I came at when we think of soundbar, that's what we think of, putting that in the family room, right, with the TV. And so I really thought that's when I started looking at what this is, and of course I noticed it was at the computer, but it is really designed to be a desktop speaker replacement, right?
Absolutely.
Do you at $399? Is that what you said? Do you guys would you guys pull the trigger at $399? Bob, are you
I was so impressed with this. I've tested some soundbars in the past, but even with that, without the head tracking and everything, you're just sitting there and they have it in stereo and it sounds pretty good. And then they turn on the surround sound, and again, you're watching something and you feel like something's coming from behind you, but there's no speakers behind you for that sound, but it's really, really impressive that the technology has come that far where they can beam the sound so it sounds like it's coming from behind you, but the only speaker is in front of you. That's just really, really cool. And again, it eliminates a lot of wires. You don't need surround sound speakers. You don't need 2 different speakers. It's just one device, super easy. Not a lot of cables. I would definitely pull the trigger if that was something that I was looking to get.
Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, secure. I agree, and I am considering it. We were talking before the show. I have this set of Creative. It's technically a 4.1 surround sound. I don't have the other 2 behind me. I'm just using them as stereo speakers in a sub. I've had them forever. They're still working, kind of like your example of the bookshelf speaker still working. But I am considering moving to a soundbar, and this is one of them that I'm looking at. For those that are security minded and maybe worried about, what do you mean there's a camera on my soundbar? It's only used internally on that device. All the processing happens there. They're not, there's no camera feed that you can pull off of this device or anything like that. So just
it looks like one of those Kinect cameras where it's not like video,
similar
video, but it's getting
technology.
It's getting depth. It's getting
it's an IR camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Brian says he says I picked up a couple HomePod minis for a secondary TV, and I'm happy with them pairing those together. I know you could. There are some of those devices you could do it. Hey, those shelf speakers that we looked at when I was on your show are really great looking speakers, and for what I do down here, which is primarily YouTube, I don't.
Yeah.
I may stream a movie or two, and actually. For the TV that's here, I just Bluetooth it to one of these Bose. What are these things? I always forget. iChannel, no, something crazy. Anyways, it's a portable, just a portable speaker meant to take outside and put on that, right? And I've got it down here. It sounds great. Like it's got some stuff built into it as well.
Some of those sound really good.
Yeah, and I think that if you're not like a crazy audiophile, you really don't need something like that soundbar. I think that soundbars are kind of great in between. So you're not spending couple $1,000 on an audio setup. This kind of gives you the in between where you have really, really good sound. But if you're just doing YouTube, maybe a movie here or there, you might, I don't know if you need something that crazy. You can get away with stereo speakers, no problem, or like the speaker that you have. But if you want to kind of up it a little bit without kind of breaking the bank, it is definitely a good choice.
Well, it's got downfiring RGB, right, too. So, Bob, as we think about your setup there, it would fit nicely into. And are the controls like on your phone? Do you know, or how is it on the unit?
There's controls on the unit. If you plug it into your PC, there's controls on Razer has their own software that you can control it. Okay. I do believe with the Bluetooth, Razer has a mobile app as well, so you can kind of control it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, it's a sharp looking. I mean, the marketing behind this thing. I'll show it one more time. Sorry for those audio only. You should head over to the YouTube channel and catch this. But I mean, it's Razer all the way, right? Yeah. I mean, it's got that signature trademark there. It looks pretty good. $399. All right, we'll have to see.
I wish like you could
with a sub as well.
Yeah, I wish you could go somewhere to test it because it really, really sounds good. There's not a Razer store by you, huh?
No, and I'm sure. No,
must be rough there in California, Bob.
There's two of them here.
I trust it. I mean, no, it's gonna be a really good speaker, right?
Yeah.
And the real question I think is this use case. If you got it on your computer and you're doing a lot of those things where sound really matters. I mean, a lot of people watch a lot of movies on their computer, right?
Yeah.
They consume a lot of media. They're streaming 4K content, possibly. There maybe is Dolby or Atmos built into this?
It does have THX.
It's THX, and they have a couple different THX modes. But yeah, I mean, just like gaming as well. I mean, you don't need headphones. This will accurately tell you where an enemy is coming from. I mean, it is that good. So,
well, that's the real use case on this is gaming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's where Razer's space is. So I should have mentioned that right off the bat, not left that for the last thing. They're trying to reach that gaming audience. It's trying to get that optimal sound, no matter where you are or what you're doing in that. I think those would be fun to pair it with a VR headset and have that with a completely immersive experience.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Let's shift one more time as we think about, and this, I'm kind of interested in these as well. I'll throw the link here in just a second. We've been talking about these dual screen, laptops for a while, thinking about having both sides of the laptop an active screen. At some point, you can turn one screen into a keyboard. It goes in multiple orientations. I'm assuming tent and side by side, and you can prop the thing up like a book, like you would a book, and use both screens. You can attach a Bluetooth keyboard to it. I plug one in, I'm sure, on it. You guys got a chance to see the Yoga Book 9i. I've got it on screen now. Bob, what do you think?
I'm always the person I want as much screen real estate as possible. And this obviously gives you that, right? So it's dual screen. So where your keyboard would normally be is a second screen. And I think if you go into the video, it will show you some of the stuff that you can kind of do with it. I'm not sure where it's at in the video, but it's in there somewhere, where you can kind of scroll through and see some of the different things you can kind of do with it. But yeah, I mean, I like having as much screen real estate as possible. And this laptop can do a lot of things for productivity for me. So I think that's kind of like the big thing. And you don't lose that keyboard. So as you can see, it comes with a wireless keyboard that you can move up or down. You can, like in the orientation that it is here, you have the keyboard up top, and then you can have a trackpad at the bottom. You can turn that trackpad into another display if you want. You can have it, they kind of have it set up there where you have both displays, and you'll see he'll flick the display up, I think, in that one as well.
Sorry, I'm fast forwarding through your coverage. Sorry.
Yeah. But there's a lot you can really do with this that I think, again, for somebody who's really big into productivity, I think it's a really, really cool device. And if you are going to make use of that second screen, it's definitely worth it. And it's not like the whole package, and we showed in the video of them breaking it down. It's something that you can just carry with you. Like, it's not this big device it's super, super thin, super light. The keyboard and the kind of the stand, because it's sitting on a stand right now, it comes with the stand, comes with a pen. It all breaks down into a simple package that you can take with you. And yeah, I mean, I would totally get this. Like, this was just a really, really cool device.
What's the retail on this?
The unit that they showed would retail for $2,000.
Okay.
But there'll be, I mean, obviously, depending on what you get in it, as far as, what CPU you're choosing, how much memory you're choosing, different display options, that can either go up or down depending on that. So
due out in April, dual 13.3, 2.8K displays, right?
Yeah.
So Ryan, what do you think?
No, I liked it. I was most impressed, I think, with the hardware is impressive, but the software and how smoothly moving that keyboard from one position to another on that secondary lower screen changed up your configuration, right? Bob mentioned if you put the keyboard up top towards the other screen, the bottom portion of that lower screen becomes your trackpad and your buttons, right? So that's a productivity mode, but you could slide that keyboard down closer to you. You lose that trackpad area, but if you're just typing, that gives you better access to the keyboard. And above you, you had like maybe the weather is always showing or something like that. And then if you don't need either one of them, throw it into scroll mode, and you can just scroll through your Twitter timeline or something like that with twice the screen real estate. And it was really nice.
If you go to, in the video, if you go to like 252, like where it says gestures, it will like 252 on there. Yeah, like right here, he'll show you the different gestures, right, kind of how you can move the screens around, move them up and down like that pretty easily. And how just everything works seamlessly, which Ryan was talking about. We were really impressed with. I've seen a lot of these over the past couple of years, and it's not seamless. It's kind of slow and kind of
has trouble.
The software has kind of trouble. This was seamless, and that's the thing I liked about it. You don't have to worry about a widget loading or something like that. The whole process was very seamless and very intuitive, and I really, really liked it. For me, this is something that I would get, because just like you want a screen, a little part of the screen that's for your weather. You want something that's for Twitter or YouTube. Like, you can have it all on this in a laptop, which I love.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This was made for me. Yeah. Like when this should be called Jim's laptop, because this is when I saw you guys talk about this, I was like, oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. In 2000, what I pay? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would for this thing. Like,
and the fact that it comes with that keyboard and everything else, that price point is pretty nice.
Yeah.
No, and I saw another demo of the stand and how portable that is. It really just kind of folds out, and you put it in. That keyboard fits in another slot. It's really not that much bigger than my current laptop. And to to be able to go someplace. I'm not traveling as much as I used to, but when I would, if I was to go on the road, pop this thing open in an airport and I'd put that laptop just in front of it, or I mean the keyboard just in front of it, and the ability to have two screens traveling that way. I mean, I've seen guys and ladies travel with an extra monitor, right? They take it out, it's USB, plug it in. That's awesome. It's great. But it's all contained in one. You're done. You fold it up, put it in your bag, you're off to the races. This has been by far the best implementation of it. And you're right. It's snappy. It's super snappy. Do you know what in this configuration, what they were running as far as like CPU and memory? And I'm assuming it's got a pretty good GPU in it to make the screens work.
I think the GPU is probably built. I because this is a thin and light device, so I don't believe it has a dedicated
built
GPU.
into the chip.
Yeah, but I mean it's going to be 13th gen. I believe it's going to be 13th gen Intel on that side. So those are going to be really, really good. Even when I've tested Lenovo 12th gen products, and they're super, super fast. So having 13th gen would be.
Yeah, this was using, they said next gen i7, right? So that's probably going to be 13th gen.
Yeah.
Graphics was the Iris Xe. So I've got the shot at the little card here. In better form. So, 16 gigs of low power DDR5X, Gen 4 storage. Yeah.
Did you get a sense? Is there a fan? Like, is this thing, it's Core i7. Did you get a sense it's noisy at all, keeping both the monitor or that CPU? No.
Nope.
No, I think we're coming to a point where like this is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to do this pretty easily. And I think a lot of it ties into the operating system. I think Lenovo and a lot of these other companies have worked a lot with Microsoft and Windows 11 to get this kind of snappiness and things kind of built into the operating system that work really well. So yeah, it's like I said, one of my favorite things that I've seen that I actually looks like I want one. Please send me one.
Yeah. If you get two, Bob, let me know. I mean, sorry, Ryan, but if you get two, let me know. I'd be all over this thing. I already, it's funny, at work, I'm actually more mobile at work than I am at the house here. So when I get into work, I have actually three different offices that I rotate around based on what I'm doing. So got my office with all my stuff in it, like the stuff office. And when I need to take a quiet call or whatever, I'll go into that office. Then I have a standing desk out in the middle of an open office concept with my marketing friends where I spend time when I want to spend time in an open concept, which I'm doing more and more of that lately. I'm there. And then I have the studio. So when I go down to record the podcast, I go down to the studio, right? So I have three different areas. Like this thing would be awesome. Now, at both desks, I have a 34-inch ultra wide as well, which is kind of nice, and then a secondary monitor. So I'm plugging in. I got three there. If you're listening to this for the first time, yes, I have a monitor problem. Let's just be really clear about that. But this thing gets me super excited about the future. Did you get a feeling like I want this to go mainstream? Like I want this to be in a lot of things. Did you get a feeling they're getting a good reception on this at all?
Yeah, and the thing that you don't realize is this is one of the yoga products. So that top screen flips completely around. Yeah. So you could be with the client on one side, you have your screen, you're showing them something else. You can also on one screen have your part of the document. Maybe you're a lawyer, you need somebody to digitally sign something. You can be on your, the one screen with your document. You can flick it over to their side and you have this thing laying flat and then they can just go ahead and sign it. Or something along those lines. I mean, there's a lot of different applications for this, but yeah, I think this is becoming more mainstream. You're going to see a lot more companies doing this. I think that, these first couple units, I think Lenovo and other companies will look at how well they sell. But I think, I mean, Ryan and I both really, really like this. And I think that a lot of people will find this type of product useful. So hopefully they sell well and it becomes a thing.
Yeah, I think this was like the best representation of a multi-display laptop device that I've seen, right? That, like Bob said, we've seen these a couple times, but there's always just something you're like, they're not quite there yet. This felt like a polished, finished product that was ready for the masses.
Yeah,
So
like we have all the components. It's kind of been worked out.
yeah,
I'd love it. I'd love it in what I do. I often sometimes need that monitor in portrait. In one of my offices, I have the ultra wide, and then next to it, I have a portrait monitor, so that some of the functions I need to do are much more efficient if they're viewed in portrait as opposed to landscape. And so in this case, it'd just be nice to pick that up,
Yeah.
like ka-chunk,
Yeah.
put it on the desk in portrait mode, put the the database stuff I need to do side by side. God, I could be super productive that way.
Yeah, and like I said, you have the detachable keyboard too, or
Yeah.
it's just a wireless keyboard. But
Right,
you
right.
know, that's not attached to the device, so you can easily just more or less just use this as a monitor, and then just have your keyboard. And if you have a wireless mouse, you'd kind of be good to go.
Yeah. Going to put this in the chat again. You guys all need to go out and look at this. Everybody who's live, and if you're listening to the audio or the video, you need to check this out. This is going to be. I'm going to be on the hunt for this thing. It's not due out till April, I think.
Yeah,
But I'm going to be out for the hunt for this thing, and I'm going to see if I can get. Now they won't do it, but I'd love it if work replaced my laptop's coming up for replacement. And
I mean, it is Lenovo. I mean, they're
tell them about the productivproducty.
Yeah.
gains. Yeah.
We are a Lenovo company, but I
yeah.
think that they'll be like, I don't know about that. So super cool. Well, you got me. That plays right into my sweet spot. Speaking of sweet spots, I gotta say thank you to both of you because you were very instrumental during the fall as I was thinking about putting this computer together. You guys were super helpful. At times, it's so funny. At times you talked me out of things. Like I was like, hey, should I do this? And Bob would be like, yeah, no, you really shouldn't do that. Like that's not
I didn't want you to waste money.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, a lot of times when we have these conversations about this kind of stuff, the temptation is to go all out on it. You guys see the high end of this stuff all the time. And it would have been super easy for you to be like, well, yeah, okay, go ahead, go with that high end, whatever. There's a couple times I pinged you, Ryan. I pinged you on Facebook a couple times, like, hey, I heard about, should I do this? And you guys, no, you'll be fine. So I want to cut a couple things in specifically. One is you steered me towards a 3060 Ti for the card. And that has just been the best decision like I've ever made. It's been perfect for me. It's worked great in the things that I'm doing. It wasn't an over purchase. I got it for $400. It wasn't an over purchase. And then listening to you guys on your podcast and all the issues, the 40 series, see, like every week it's a train wreck. It seems like, right? Would you recommend it right now? Anybody buy a 40 series GPU if they were out there? I mean, they're burning up. They're burning cables.
I think the cable issue is more user error than anything, and I think that's kind of a little bit past us at this point. But I think it all depends on how much money you want to spend on your PC build, right? At the high end, you have the 4090, which blows everything that's out there out of the water right now. But it's what, Ryan, a $600 or $1,600 card? Yeah. So I mean, it's very, very high end, and then you have the 4080, which is also, I mean, the cards and the performance is great. They're just a lot more expensive than a lot of people are used to. And then we have the 4070 Ti, which is out right now, but that was supposed to be the 4080 12 gigabyte, and they renamed it to the 4070 Ti. And in the naming scheme of things, we typically don't see a Ti card. That's usually like the refresh. So it's kind of confusing to consumers. Maybe a lot of your listeners are like, what does this Ti mean? It's typically that's the refresh, and you're getting that off the bat. So it is a little bit confusing. So yeah, I think NVIDIA kind of messed up some things with this launch, and they ultimately got kind of bullied into putting out a card that was supposed to be called a 4080, and now they had to call it a 4070 Ti. So it is, like, again, it is confusing, but they are the best cards out there right now for the performance that you're going to get. But it's like, do you need that performance? Are you going to be playing the best games out there at 4K 120, 4K 240? If you're playing at 1080p, I mean, just like what your 3060 Ti would be more than fine for that, or even any of the other 30 series cards that have been out for a while that you can get pretty affordably right now. So yeah.
Ryan, you want to add anything to that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there is definitely a person out there that the 40 series does make sense for, but a lot of folks can do just fine with a lower priced 30 series card, and it'll still last them, quite a long time.
Tony out in the chat says that new Mac Mini's looking pretty nice. And then Brian says, agreed. If you're in the market for a desktop computer, it looks like a solid machine. Listen, I feel like I've gotten the best of both worlds in this. I bought that Mac Mini M1 when it came out, and I think that's been 2 years now. I think we're coming up on the 2-year purchase of that. Is that right? Yeah, I think it is.
Has it been that long already?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think, yeah. All of a sudden, I'm like, have I had it for 2 years? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's been a great desktop, a great podcasting machine. Like, I swear, the M1 was built for podcasters. Like, it's everything's there. It's just enough. For audio and video processing, it's great. Not a great gaming rig, so I built a gaming rig, right? And so AMD 5600X works great. Temperatures have been great. Ryan, the other thing I was going to say, you sent me one of the AIOs to try out, put in, and I held it off for a little bit because I was like, I don't know, I've never put one of these in before. Like, am I going to screw this up or whatever? And so the other day, the timing was right. I had some time in the afternoon. I thought, okay, I'm gonna put this thing in. So did what I needed to do. The hardest part was getting the old fan out type deal. A couple screws, pull it out. That's easy. The rest of it was super easy.
Yeah. Board
underneath, put screws in, maybe figuring out how to configure the clamp that holds it down to it. Then putting the fans and the radiator in that Cooler Master box that I bought was super easy. It's like Legos. And I got done. It was like an hour and maybe not even that. And I was like, well, that's disappointing. I thought that was I thought those could take me a little bit longer, right? About 10 degrees difference or so between, I went out and did the benchmark testing to it. And I think I was in the 65 Celsius range with the stock cooler, 55 Celsius range for the liquid cooled for the AIO. Does that seem about right? Do you think do those temperatures sound about right?
Dependent on the chip you're putting it on, right? The fan speeds you're running, right? You can adjust some of those.
True.
Those speeds with that motherboard header, right? Once you get it on the right header.
Right.
No.
Yes.
So you can
put it in the wrong header to begin with, and then because it says AIO on the board, so that's the one I put it in, but it really needed to go to the CPU.
Yeah. So I think you could probably adjust that header a little bit up or down depending on your comfort level regarding noise and temperatures and things like that. So you can shuffle that around a little bit. But yeah, no, I'm glad it worked out for you. The unit I sent you was a Arctic cooling 240 millimeter setup. And the thing that I really liked about that, and one of the reasons I sent that one to you, is the fans and all their wiring. This isn't an RGB like light up AIO like we've seen from so many companies. It's a pretty stock, and I know you're not a lighting guy, so that's another advantage. But all the cabling for those fans actually routes through the sheath on the cooling tubes back to the pump housing. So there's only one cable or one header connection that's used for the whole thing. Both fans on the radiator, the pump, and the small little fan that's on the pump housing that actually blows and cools your power delivery systems around the CPU is all connected via one cable. So that cleans things up and makes installation much easier. So
easy.
Some of these new kits, it's a mess with the fans that each have a PWM cable for their the motor and spinning up the fans, and then you've got a cable for the RGB lighting that's got to go to a controller and this, that, and the other. It can become a real mess. Some of the newer kits have gone to daisy chaining fans, so there's a lot less cable mess, which is really nice, and I've appreciated it on the couple kits that I've reviewed recently that have done that. But yeah, no, I'm glad you're happy with it.
Yeah, no, super good. The board would support multiple headers for the various things, but with
Right.
just the one, and the problem is the board definitely wanted a CPU fan, and I'm sure maybe there's a way to turn that off. I didn't figure it out, so I just put it on the CPU fan. It was good to go. The worst part was I got a little thermal paste on my hands. That was probably the worst part of the whole thing. You're trying to work around that stuff, and then you're trying to wipe it off, and then put new stuff on, and got a little on my hands. So it wasn't.
It's got to use some alcohol. It takes it right off.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't too terrible. I took it as it's battle damage, and I thought, no, I've initiated in the world of
badge of honor.
Cooling this way. No, went back together, ran some tests on it. It's been working great. It's super quiet. Like that PC, even though it's got 5 times the power of the one that's next to it, it's a 1/10 of the noise. It's great.
Nice.
Good. It's just great. So, anyways, Ryan, thanks for sending that, and that is when my kids heard about that, they were like, well, first they're like, "You're putting in liquid cooling? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?" They thought maybe I'd been, by an alien or something. Dad's doing that. What's going on? So, anyways, guys, thanks to both of you appreciate your partnership. Appreciate you guys coming on the show. I appreciate you guys helping me out to get that build. It was a super fun experience, and I was telling you guys this at the start of the show. I bought it exactly the right time, which was Black Friday, and I kept track of all the prices just because I'm crazy that way. Because I'm insane about when I spend money, and everything went up. And it's the very first time that's ever happened to me where I got done. I'm like, oh, thank God I spent that money. It's not normally, that's not normally what happens. I was super happy. Not really, happy, but just satisfied. Like, yeah, you guys kind of coached me on, Bob. You told me several times, because we had this discussion started back in September, and there was a couple times I'm like, should I buy now? And you were like, no, I think you should wait.
Yeah,
there's gonna be some Black Friday deals, and there were. Although I did track things through Amazon. If you put stuff in your cart and then you refresh your cart, just leave it in your cart and you refresh it, it will tell you if the price is going up or down.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I know some folks use Camel, and there's some other things out there you can use to track prices on Amazon. But that's what I did, and it just worked. And then everything went up. I was glad. I think I got the 128 gig of RAM for $3 something, and it's now $4 something, maybe $5.
Yeah,
right? Those prices went up. I am seeing hard drive prices stay. I think right now, if you were going to get a Western Digital, is it a 580? One of their super fast NVMe drives, I think they're like 109, which is
that stuff's pretty cheap.
Yeah. Anything else? We talked about monitors, maybe hard drives. Anything else right now that's not being affected that you guys are seeing in the market that's not being affected, or somebody should be watching for if they've been waiting? Are case prices decent, or it would now be a good time to power supplies?
I think everything's slightly more expensive, just but not by much, but $10-15 just because. And I don't know I haven't kept up with the whole tariff thing, if they're restating those tariffs, because that caused a lot of prices in the PC market to change. But I think everything is, again, when it comes to, you're going to find your best deals during sales. And the next big sale is what's the big holiday before summer?
Memorial Day?
President's Day?
Memorial Day. You'll find a Memorial Day sale, or whenever. I think Prime Day is in the summer. Is it not Amazon Prime Day?
July, August, maybe.
Yeah. So those are when you're going to find some really big deals. I think that the things that are up right now is memory. So anything to do with memory, SSDs have remained kind of the same price. I think just because there's so much out in the market. But anything with memory,
CPUs went up. CPUs, I thought they dipped slightly, like we thought they would, and then they've kind of come back up again.
Yeah. So, but as the year goes on, things will get cheaper if you're looking. But I would say anytime's a real, the longer you wait, the longer you don't have your PC or whatever you're trying to build.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and like I said, the prices aren't bad. It's not like where we were a couple years ago during the middle of the pandemic, where you couldn't find a GPU for the life of you at a normal price, and you were paying $1,000 over MSRP. Like, we're not at that point at all. So
thank goodness.
Yeah. And I ended up just going with a Dell for the GPU. I found a $400 3060. That was a Dell build, right? That's what they were putting in their boxes. I found it on eBay. I picked it up and it was good enough. One night I'm like, okay, I'm done thinking about this. I'm just gonna do this thing. Yeah, I'm just gonna pull the trigger and get it done. So anyways, gentlemen, thank you for your guidance through this. And let me encourage, like I've been trying to show up to your live show just as much as possible lately, and it's super great. So if you're into this kind of talk, if you're into the PC build and review of parts and some especially on the PC side, some of the gadgets that are coming out for this, you got to go over to thinkcomputers.org. Make sure you get subscribed. Just Think Computers in your favorite podcast app. Get subscribed to it and make sure you're downloading it on a regular basis. You're following these guys. You're doing whatever needs to get done. And then since I don't have an affiliate relationship, if you're buying stuff, go over there and check it out over there first and follow their links so that they get some credit. If you're going to buy it anyways, so they get some credit. I've just appreciated all the work they've done. So good work, gentlemen. And your chat room is as equally nice as ours is, which is kind of great. I know sometimes you get into these things, and if you're into gaming, you can game with them afterwards, right, Ryan? Is that that's your space, right? What do you guys know?
We stream on Twitch right after our podcast on Wednesday nights. So we just hop over, and like you said, we've got a good community. We've got a Discord channel there, server, and so we're over there. You can hang out with us, and if you want to, try and game with us, that's we're open to it. We usually have a group that we are normally playing with, but if someone wants to, hey, I'd really like to play with you, let's schedule that up, type of thing, or
cool.
If it works out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff. No, and then let's see, one more. What? Shoot, I had that question. I wanted to pimp one more thing that you guys do. And, how do they find your Discord group? What's the?
Just go to thinkcomputers.org/Discord. That's what it is. Or /Discord, whatever it is. I always get this. Yeah. That will take you right to it and give you an invite to the server. Pretty easy to do there.
No, right on. And you guys have been doing this a long time. I just think we've had you on several times, and I'd hate for any of my listeners that have not listened yet. This is basically me telling you to go over there. We've kind of alluded to it, but now I'm telling you got to go over there and give it a listen. So make sure you get over there and get that done. Gentlemen, thanks. Let me close this thing up, and can you stay around for 1 minute of post show? Okay.
Yeah.
Just a couple reminders on the way out. If you want to join us in our Discord group here, or if you got any questions, head over to theaverageguy.tv/Discord, and you can get in there as well. If you want to leave me a message, some folks, guys, when I started doing this message thing, I thought more people would take advantage of it, leaving a message. The audience that maybe you have and that I have, they still just like to send emails. Just to be honest, it's not. I was like, I thought this would be easy. Just turn your mic on. No, they want to do it. But if you want to, head over to homegadgetgeeks.com and you can do it that way. Or if you want to send that traditional email, you can send it to me, Jim@theaverageguy.tv. Big thanks to Christian over at Maple Grove Partners. Get both web and media hosting powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from folks that you know and trust. He's even doing email now too. So if you need kind of a new solution, if you need some hosting from people who care, I know some of these services, you can't get a hold of anybody, whatever. You don't feel like they care and what they're doing. Christian's doing a bang up job. He's got plans for as little as $10 a month. Visit maplegrovepartners.com and get signed up today. Many of you have done that as well. So I'm looking through my notes. I'm actually finding I see the notes from the last time. You guys appreciate that. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live, and glad to have you join as well. And thanks for those of you, Brian, Tony, Joe, John, and Ken. Thanks for coming out tonight. And with that, we'll say goodbye.